Across the world, across the nation, even in this area, cults, false teachings, and New Age philosophies are on the rise. These leaders reject the simplicity of the Bible's message while supposedly relaying new truths to their followers. And these strange new teachings are even infiltrating the church. Why are millions of intelligent people falling for these new bold claims? This is Cultivate, an insightful broadcast that aims at exposing the pitfalls of the cults, the New Age movement, the New World Order, and frightening new teachings that are even being accepted in many of today's churches. Cultivate will also give you an understanding of where we are in light of Bible prophecy. Your host on Cultivate, Jim Zalanka, was raised as a Mormon, but today is a born-again Christian and an expert on non-Christian cults and world religions. Now, here's Jim Zalanka.
Hello and welcome to this Wednesday edition of Cultivate. Yes, I was raised as a Mormon, and it's pretty rare that a Mormon even gets saved, mostly because Christians won't witness to them. But back in 1974, a Christian did witness to me. He didn't know I was a Mormon at the time, and I did have a true born-again experience. I got, I was saved in a sleeping bag, believe it or not, down in Merced, California, in the backyard of a Christian church, not far from Yosemite, California, where I was living there at the time, and I had just broken the world's record for the amount of flights off of Glacier Point with my hang glider. Yes, I was one of those crazy Californians. Kind of a vainglory thing as I look back at it now, but you know, after I got saved, I realized, hey, the other Mormons aren't saved, including my family. In fact, I lost most of my family because of, my stand. And, I was kind of in denial for a while. Many of you, too, that have family members that are in the cults or Catholicism or whatever. But, like me, you have to realize the same thing. You got to do something. I'm still doing this today, trying to get the hardest of the hardest saved. Mormonism teaches that God is a man who, kind of, evolved from man into godhood. He's living on another planet, near a mysterious star called Kolob. There, with his multitudes of wives, he's still producing babies, but these babies are spirit babies in need of a physical body. So Mormons are taught that if they get married and have babies of their own, these poor spirit babies are somehow beamed down from starbase Kolob onto the earth, and they begin inhabiting the babies born to Mormon parents. You think that's bizarre? It gets, there's more bizarre than that within Mormonism. Anyway, Mormonism also teaches that Jesus is the brother of Satan. And they also teach that Jesus is the God of this world. So their Jesus is Satan. It's difficult to get through to many cult members because they get so indoctrinated. But the Word of God still works the same way with anybody. Even with Mormons who put so much trust in the Book of Mormon and their founder, Joseph Smith. I'm sharing with you this week what I can with our limited time, the audio portion of a film that's been made, The Bible versus Joseph Smith. What's interesting is that this film was all done in Israel and deals with the prophecies given by Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon and all, compared to the prophecies in the Bible. Guess who wins? Anyway, at the end of today's broadcast, we're going to be making this available to you on a DVD for a gift of any amount. And do feel free to make copies and share with as many as you can. Now, we're not set up for taking phone orders, so you need to grab a pen to jot down our address. But now, let's take off again where we left off yesterday. Here again is the audio portion of the film, The Bible versus Joseph Smith.
This is Cave 1. This is where the first discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls was made.
So the plain and precious things were missing, this is saying, after the 12 apostles and after the scriptures went to the Gentiles. What does the Dead Sea Scrolls say about that? Because that would predate that.
Yeah,
right?
Obviously this is before Jesus' birth, before the birth of the church. They were hidden away, not discovered for 2,000 years after. So it gives us a chance to look at a history before any of this became controversy or any possible changes could have been introduced. And it tells us that the text remained unchanged. There's nothing different between it and the translation from which our modern Bibles come. So there's nothing missing.
Are these plain and precious portions missing from the New Testament?
Look, when we are talking about the New Testament, we are talking about the best ever well-known book of antiquity. And the difference between what we know about the New Testament and any other book from antiquity is amazing.
And so if the reality is if it is this way, but we can show with the evidence that it hasn't been corrupted, that we have it preserved in our modern Bibles, then that would nullify that whole need for restoration.
In a nutshell.
Did that prophecy come true in history?
Absolutely not. When we compare all the ancient copies of the New Testament that we have, the differences are very small. So you cannot even show me a text where this has been done, because the difference between the different copies that we have are very, very, very tiny. They don't affect the substance of the meaning. It is like saying, instead of how can I put it, but saying however. It is this kind of small and tiny changes. You don't have changes that affect the substance of the meaning of the New Testament. So it's something that it's utterly impossible.
So back to what is being claimed by Nephi in chapter 13. Did his prediction that our modern Bibles would become corrupt after the time of the 12 apostles of the Lamb, did that come to pass in history?
I believe that, well, from what I'd been taught as a youngster, yes, it has occurred.
And what does the evidence that you find here, going and looking at these ancient copies of the Bible, tell you in regards to that?
That it has not. They're all the same.
Then what would the logical conclusion be?
Well, it just shows Nephi was wrong when he made that statement.
Since Nephi's prediction that the Bible would be corrupted did not take place in history, he fails the test of a prophet. We can also test the prophets in the Bible. The central theme of the prophecies made by the Old Testament prophets is in the coming of a person, known as the Messiah, someone who would come to save and eventually rule the world. The writers of the New Testament believed that Jesus Christ was this Messiah. In the New Testament, the title Christ has the same meaning as the Old Testament title Messiah. The first biblical prophet we will test is Micah. Around 700 BC, Micah prophesied that the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem. But you, Bethlehem Ephrathah, though you are small among the clans of Judah, out of you will come for me one who will be ruler over Israel, whose origins are from of old, from ancient times. Amazingly, a fragment containing Micah's prophecy was discovered among the Dead Sea Scrolls. Dr. Price took me to the cave where it was found.
What we know is beneath this floor, there were 15,000 fragments that were uncovered.
This fragment containing Micah 5:2 dates to 100 BC, making it a century older than the birth of Jesus in Bethlehem. In Matthew's Gospel, he states that Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea. And then he quotes Micah 5:2 to show that Jesus fulfills Micah's prophecy.
So there is a link between the prophecy of Micah, and then in the New Testament it is said that he was born in Bethlehem and that he fulfills that prophecy.
I went to Bethlehem for Christmas, along with crowds of people from all over the world. This is the Church of the Nativity. It's built over the traditional place of Jesus' birth, a site that pilgrims have been visiting for almost 2,000 years. Jewish archaeologist Dr. Gabriel Barkay has been working in Israel for more than 40 years.
Listen, I'm very objective. First of all, I'm an archaeologist, and I'm not Christian.
Where personally do you believe that Jesus was born?
Under the Church of Nativity in Bethlehem, there are some caves. And those cavities were in use in the first century beyond any doubt. For very important places.
Book of Mormon, born in Jerusalem. Bible, born in Bethlehem. Big difference, about 7 miles apart. You've been listening to the audio portion of this film entitled The Bible versus Joseph Smith. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we're not set up for taking phone orders, so you need to grab a pen to jot down our address, which I'm about to give out. First, I just want to mention that, Mormons are not the enemy, folks. They are victims of the enemy. And it's up to you and I to reach out to them with the truth. Nobody else is going to do it. And if you don't feel that you can witness to them personally, directly, then this DVD is one great tool to use. Just give it to them, or better yet, watch it yourself first. Then make copies and get them out to as many Mormon churches in your area, all of them really, and then show it at your own church or fellowship as well. No copyrights here, so you need to take advantage of this. And don't go thinking somebody else is going to do it because they're thinking the same thing you are. Don't take the apathy pill. If you've already taken it, then cough it up because, listen, church, eternal lives are at stake here. Now again, if you'd like to obtain this DVD, it's entitled The Bible versus Joseph Smith. Again, it's available for a gift of any amount. I would ask that you might do what you can when writing, because I do have to pay for this airtime, and I don't think I have to explain too much about the economy. Support has been dropping off with many ministries. Yet I'm still out here, plugging away, trying to do my best to, I'm putting my life on the line, by the way, doing this, literally, to get people saved, and also to prepare you, the church, to deal with these groups too. So, there's so many deceptions out there. The watchman is still needed. Even my own sister was murdered simply because she was my sister, and the Mormon Church wants me dead too, so your prayers are greatly appreciated. Okay, I hope you grabbed a pen because here comes the address. It's Cultivate Ministries, P.O. Box 526, Florescent, Colorado, 80816. That's Cultivate, Box 526, Florescent, Colorado, 80816. Need to contact us by phone, the number here, area code 719-630-1222. That's area code 719-630-1222. Now, in case you've missed that address or phone number, you may obtain it from this radio station. This has been Jim Zalanka with Cultivate. Please do keep us in your prayers, and we'll be back again tomorrow.